Arby's every time we do a live stream.
Do we?
I'm pretty sure I was eating French fries last stream.
You were.
So it must be our go-to Wednesday meal.
We eat Arby's once a week.
Okay. Apparently it's always Wednesdays. Hashtag not sponsored. I wish I was sponsored by them. That'd be awesome.
Maybe we should talk up them so they do sponsor us. We're not sponsored.
Eric, contact Arby's and get us sponsored by them.
Maybe if we just keep eating Arby's will figure it out. Hashtag Arby sponsor.
Hashtag please sponsor us, Arby's. Let's make it a thing. Hello, person. Say hello, whoever you are.
It's either Eric or Xavier.
Well, whoever it is doesn't want to talk to us. Well, whoever you are, we're going to give it about 3 more minutes to let some people get on here before we get into it, as they say. So just feel free to enjoy watching us eat. You can learn a lot about an animal by watching it eat.
Who's Gregory?
Don't know. Why are you asking me that?
I don't know. I'm just wondering. I like to know these things.
Okay, but now you're asking me. You expect me to know who that person is?
Yes.
Do I know who anybody is?
With the right frame of reference, yes.
This person still doesn't want to talk to us, whoever they are.
Maybe they have nothing to say.
Us eating, I'm sure, is super exciting.
I'm sure is.
He's a paintballer.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. He has a dog.
The problem with this sport is you never know who anyone is because you can't see anyone's face.
True. You're not wrong.
And then our Facebooks, there are always pictures of them playing paintball, so then you can't even have a point of reference.
Sorry, love. Sorry. Well, we're over 5 minutes in now, so I guess we'll get
That's
started.
real paintball first world problems.
What you said.
Hmm.
Anyway, I guess we'll get started. You know, I need
Ketchup?
ketchup. That's what I could use.
Is there ketchup in that bag?
Oh. Maybe.
I only basically asked, do you want Arby's sauce or ketchup?
There is no ketchup in here. Don't forget that your wedge is in there.
I don't know, I ate one already. Do you want anything else going down here?
I don't think so. Sweet. Oh yeah. Getting the good stuff now. That's a good one. Here, everybody, check that out. Oh! As I drop it. That's a good fry.
Hashtag Arby's sponsor us.
Hashtag we're not sponsored, but we'd like to be. Arby's.
You know, I would be okay if they just gave us free food. We eat there enough. I don't even need
That's
you
what
to
I'm
give me
saying.
money to play the sport.
We'll talk you up. You give us free food. Pretty simple.
I'll wear a big 10-gallon hat. It's a big 10-gallon hat.
Oh, so that's an oven mitt.
It used to be a hat. I don't know when they changed it to the oven mitt. It used to be a hat. Because it used to be the sign. There's an Arby's. I think it's on Ohio River Boulevard. I have a big 10-gallon hat. Okay, regardless, I'll wear an oven mitt. I'll play with an oven mitt on.
That's weird. But okay. So. Hey, Clark's here. Hello, Clark. Have you been on here this whole time and just now you're finally saying something? Have you enjoyed watching us eat? You just got on. Okay, so we're going to talk about masks today. I told everybody last week that I was going to tell you a fun story about children, then their masks. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell us a story. It's about children and their masks. Weird, right?
I don't understand.
So I was reffing, as one does. And, you know, we're fairly strict at P3 about keeping your mask on. To the point where if we see it, we're gonna dog you about it. And if we see it a couple of times, we notice people aren't paying attention, people aren't listening to us about their mask, and they keep taking it off, we're gonna kick you off the field. Legitimately, we will make you sit out, at least for a round. Well, A-Dog was reffing a party, and she was on the last round with them, and I went out to help her because at that point I was going to take pictures. That's what it was. I was going to take pictures for her, and as I got out there, the woman of the mother, I guess, of one of the kids, so there were two adults, and she was saying to all the children, the next person that takes your mask off, you're done. She said that. I don't know if that was exact words, but basically she said if you take your mask off, you're not playing anymore. So those are the words that she said. And then, as ADOG was having everyone go over to their starting positions, I saw two kids take their mask off. So I pulled them off and told them to go back, sit down. Which I would have done anyway by that point. It was their last game, which means they'd played at least 3 rounds beforehand. They should know by then, keep your mask on. And then they were just told by their own adult supervisor, whoever it was, keep your mask on, or you're done.
I believe the kid you kicked off the field, who was the birthday boy, and that is part of this story for a specific reason. That was his mom or stepmom.
So anyway, one of them was a birthday boy. I guess there were 2 birthday boys, and that was one of them. And and then they played the game. I took the pictures. We went back off, and as I was over there, I heard the one kid say to a separate adult that wasn't on the field. He was sitting back there. That's the one that kicked me off. I heard him say that, and I just didn't think anything of it. Well, it turns out that adult was the coach of their football team, and he went and complained about me having kicked these kids off. And he said something along the lines of there was no warning, it was a birthday boy, and it was the last game of the day, so they shouldn't have been kicked off.
Also, the fact that you weren't their main ref.
I wasn't their main ref.
And I did not kick them off.
And I have so many thoughts about this. Like, I don't know where to start. But it really comes down to this. Hold on for a second, I will try. I think Adriana just needs to talk louder. Hell, maybe I need to talk louder, I don't know. I actually cannot, no. Let me check the computer settings. I've never had anyone say that they had a problem hearing me before. Maybe it's just your ears. Puppy, what are you doing? Puppy, what are you doing?
He's obviously not paying
Get
attention.
out of here.
You just hit his head off the thing. You rammed us off the corner of the desk.
Okay, is that better?
Sit down, Loki. Sit. Sit.
Can you hear me now?
Sit.
Well, it can't go any higher, so hopefully that's loud enough for you.
Just start yelling.
What? Now you're gonna come lick me and pretend like it's all okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it really comes down to this. If one of these if one of these childs had been shot in the eye, thereby legitimately losing the eye, they would lose sight in that eye. If that had happened, would the coach have been happier? Because he complained that I kicked them off. So would he prefer them to be in an unsafe environment? Is that what he wants? Like, does this coach... So this is the coach of the football team. Would he be happier if they were not able to play football anymore because they didn't have an eye? Do you think that would have been better? What? I don't understand.
Are you allowed to play football without a helmet? I believe you get flagged or you're not allowed to be on the field.
Yeah, like, does he allow them to play without their pads or their helmets?
I wouldn't
or their mouth guard?
Compare it to pads. I would compare it as when you're on the football field, you need to have a helmet on. Or when you need to be on, like, except for baseball and basketball, you have to have a helmet on. So I guess hockey and football.
Hello, pup.
Also, football is the most dangerous sport there is, statistically speaking.
So, let me hear from you, Clark, or our mystery guest that still doesn't speak up. No, no, not soccer, like American football.
No, I think I mentioned that you had to wear a helmet for all the sports, and I listed two.
You don't have to play
You don't
soccer.
have to have one for soccer. That is true.
But, so my question, I guess, to everyone is, what do you think that this adult wanted? What do you think this coach wanted? Was he just an ornery guy? Was he trying to make the child feel better? Or did he honestly think that I was in the wrong? Oh, goodness.
You angered the birthday boy, which angered him, because in the end, the adults are paying money because his kid was there as well. And you're paying for a service, you should be treated as the customer, and you're always right. So if he took his mask off too damn bad, he should be allowed to stay on the field. And as this being the last game, I'm as soon as I catch it, I say something. I've never kicked anyone off the field while a party, but I warned them numerous times throughout the day, and the two adults that were playing with them warned them. So at that point, when you have your parents stating something, if you don't take them off the field, they're not going to learn.
Your one friend got called out by a ref for being out of bounds and just raged and left. The player raged and left because he got called out for being out of bounds. I'd do that. If someone's out, well, it depends on what's happening. If they're out of bounds and it's like they're just slightly out, I would just say, hey, get back in. If they don't listen to me, like if they hear me but obviously just ignore me, then yes, I will call them out. If they're way out of bounds, like, how did you manage to get over there and not notice that there was no one else around you? You have to have known you're out of bounds. I call them out because at that point they're just plain stupid or they're cheating, which, believe it or not, I've seen more than once, to the point where, so Clark, you're aware of Three Rivers, obviously. We were on, what field were we on? We were on Tank Field, and these three people on the same team, Loki, stop it. These three people on the same team, they were near side, got over to the castle, so the opposite end of the adjacent field, which is no less than 20 yards away. They got all the way over there and were shooting at the other team. Like, I called them out. I said, you guys are out. They were like, what do you mean? I said, you're out of bounds so far that it's ridiculous. How do you not know we didn't know this was out of bounds. First of all, you came right underneath you had to duck to get underneath this white wire. Secondly, did you not notice there's no one else around you? Thirdly, I yelled to you and motioned and you just ignored me. Hi, Pop.
The last time we were at P3, when Dalton and we were on field 2. And we were far side of field.
P3?
No, at Three Rivers. This was the last time we played at Three
You
Rivers.
said P3.
Did I say P3? I'm sorry, I meant Three Rivers. And I think you had gotten out at this point already because you pushed up all the way into the houses, and I think Dalton was at another house, but I was back further, and I must have hit this guy 8 times. Like his whole butt was sticking out. I must have hit him 8 times. He decided to flank, and I proceeded to move in towards the field as he was flanking. And I was really confused why he was continually running towards the flag, because I knew I hit him. Dalton knew he hit him. And you could tell he was out of bounds before he made it to the flag. And I was very confused what was going on. Like, on field 2, it's obvious what is out of bounds on if you're far side, the right side.
It's obvious no matter what. You have to literally duck underneath the white lines.
But then when we were on Creek, we were far side of Creek and we made it up the hill. And somebody got into the castle and was shooting us from the castle. I was like, what the hell's going?
Yeah.
I was getting like rained on, and I had no idea why. And then I noticed he was in the castle because you and I had progressed to the hillside at that point, going down.
Yeah,
into
and they were on the field next to us. Now that, in his defense, once I said, "Hey, you're out of bounds, get out of here," he left the field. Like, he didn't even continue to play. He called himself out. So
no, he was very sportsmanship about it.
Basically, Clark, I have called people out for being out of bounds, especially if they're out of bounds shooting at people that are still in bounds. That I will not stand for. Because that gives them an unfair advantage. You just gotta call them out.
Now, when they go out of bounds, like on respawns that are unlimited, do you make them go back to the respawn?
I've never had to call someone out for being out of bounds at P3. So, and at Three Rivers, it's only one hit.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I assume I would just make them reset.
I think somebody left the field, and I think he thought it was just one hit went on, and this was at Vietnam, so he came underneath the netting because there's that hole.
Yeah.
And I just told him to go back in, but I made him go back to his respawn point.
So Clark, were you there as well when this person went out of bounds and got rage and left? What was the context? Was it just open play? Well, if it was in an event, if it was open play and someone called you out for that without warning or anything, yeah, that would be a bit much. Don't think I would agree with that. But as far as an event, yeah, at an event, I'd probably call them out too. And it doesn't matter if it's by 2 feet or by 10 yards at that point. And the reason I say that is because there are plenty of places that I know of at Three Rivers, even at P3 too, but definitely Three Rivers, where there are bunkers that are right on the line, and I see all the time where people just try to scoot over the line a little bit because they're trying to get better in that bunker. Well, you can't do that, because that's out of bounds. They want to do that because it gives them a better coverage, or they can get a better angle. Well, the fields aren't built that way. They're not built for you to be out of bounds. So it actually gives you an unfair advantage. And, it's... So I'm not... I don't know. At an event, I agree. I would have called him out too. Open play, I'm sure I would have just told him, hey, get back inside the line. But, yeah, at an event, they matter more, so...
You also, it's dangerous to shoot somebody, like, if you know that they're out of bounds and they start shooting at, and so you turn your back to them, or you turn your peripheral and you're not paying attention to them, and then they shoot you, I know, you're obviously being shot anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but I feel that could be a dangerous situation if they're shooting you from out of bounds.
I don't see how it's any more dangerous than shooting them inbounds.
Okay. I don't know. It could turn into a dangerous situation.
Turn into a fight is what it could do. Especially at an event. Which is why I would call them out. Because, picture for a moment, you're the person being shot at from inbounds. What would you do? You know, me personally, I would say, at the very least, I would say, hey, ref, he's out of bounds. I'm not out. And he is out. At the very least, and then that guy says, "Well, I shot you. I didn't mean to go out of bounds." So, and then I say, "Well, you were out of bounds, so too damn bad." And then he gets hot-headed, and then you get a fight. So it's better just
People
to
have fought for less.
people have fought for a lot less. So, it's better just follow the rules, and as silly as it may seem, call them out. Sorry, you're done. Get out of here.
It also, with what you're saying, is if they shoot you and you don't leave because they're out of bounds, they're going to continually shoot you until
Yeah,
you
then
leave
maybe
the
they're going to
field.
keep shooting you.
And then
especially, like-
they're lighting you up for no good reason.
Maybe that person didn't know he was out of bounds. Your friend. Okay. Well, then what she's saying, so I look over and I say, that guy's out of bounds. I'm not leaving. And then he starts wailing on me because I'm not leaving. He thinks I'm cheating. So then I start wailing back at him because now he's overshooting me and out of bounds. And where's that go? So that it's just not a good situation. So at open play, that's why for the most part I'll just kind of shoot people back in. Even at an event, if they're not shooting at anybody and they're out by just a little bit, I'll say, "Hey, bud, get back inside." But yeah, if you're leaning out and you're shooting at somebody, or you're out farther, or if it's an important, maybe you're out, maybe you're not shooting anybody, but you're leaning out because you're being shot at. And if you weren't leaning out of bounds, and that's what I was saying about like the positioning of bunkers and stuff. If you weren't leaning out, they would have hit you. Then I'm going to call you out because you're out. If they, the only way you're not leaving is cheating by leaning out of bounds. That's essentially the same thing as wiping. You're giving yourself an unfair advantage or cheating in order to make sure you're not being hit. You also will just be wiping your shots at that point. So, yeah, I kind of at an event I agree with that particular ref. Sorry to bust your bubble there, but
I agree that events, because you're playing for something, and I'm competitive, so like I don't need the fair advantage. I don't need to cheat. I don't need you to cheat. I want to win because I know I'm better than you. Then I think he needed to be called on. Events are usually 10-minute respawns or unlimited respawns, so it doesn't even matter if you get caught
Yeah.
up. Go back to your respawn and come back in.
yeah, just honestly, and depending on the event, it could be an immediate respawn. So just get back in. It's like it's not that big of a deal.
So for that, I don't even understand why you'd get heated.
He sounds to me, Clark, and I could be wrong. So correct me if I'm wrong, but he sounds to me like the type of person that would get upset if he had gotten shot out too. Like, oh, I should, like he would find the excuses. Oh, I should have hit him, except that this happened. The sun was in my eyes, kind of thing, right?
He's the one that doesn't take surrenders.
People, yeah, he's the type of guy who doesn't take a surrender. Like if someone comes up behind him and points the gun to the back of his head and says surrender, your friend there would be the guy that would turn around and shoot him, right? I'll bet you he would. He says yes, he is short-tempered.
Because with just open play, if you're out of bounds, they're usually little kids who aren't really paying attention, or adults who aren't paying attention, who've never played on the field before. Like, usually you tell them that you're out of bounds, they go back in. Because the first time we reffed at P3, when we were shadowing, and those speedballers that speedballer came from Missouri, and he thought he knew everything about everything, and that the sun rose and
Continue.
set. He went out of bounds when we were on compound, and Jen went up to him and told him like 3 times this was out of bounds, and he had no idea that he was out of bounds because of the tape line. When you get over there, onto compound in the wooded area before the path, there's a big red line. There's a big red tape line.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand getting out of bounds accidentally. At any field I've been to, I honestly don't understand how you can get out of bounds without realizing it. Because you have to cross over or under a tape line. It can't be much clearer than that. Like you have to move it out of your way to get out of bounds. I don't understand that. Well, how did you do it? How did you get out of bounds without realizing it? I can't remember a time where I have ever gone out of bounds without realizing it. Other than, I will admit that I have gone out of bounds when I'm at a bunker that is on the tape line. I know the tape line's there. I mean, I see it, but I might have leaned a little too far. I've probably done that more than once. First 2 minutes in P3, didn't notice. What field? I'm guessing you're talking about Reaper Siege, which would mean compound field, probably.
Compound, or if he ran up towards the jungle from compound.
Well, I think he ran with me though, so.
Did you run out into Black Forest and come up? Or
My
did
guess
you
would
go
be
up
he's
towards
talking
jungle?
about the back of Ultimate Woods Ball or jungle back there.
Was that your first time on the field? Because if it was
Why would you think they just didn't take off the tape? It's there for a reason. So you didn't do it. You didn't do it and not realize it. You did it on purpose, but thought it was still in play.
I'm gonna give it to him because I'm still confused. He fixed Black Forest now though, and I really appreciate it because the last time I went back there, I was like, oh, I can get back here. Why isn't there a sign still? But it was a quick path instead of having to go underneath a tape line through jungle and compound to get in there.
You never had to do that. It's always been on the back of compound.
I know it's always been on the back of compound.
It's always been right there.
Yes, but if someone's on compound, you can't go through compound and just walk into Black Forest.
You follow the main path.
Well, that didn't work for me that one time.
Okay.
Don't raise your eyebrows at me.
Yes, because I pay attention. Yeah. Anyway, so there was another time. So this I don't understand. It was an open play, and there was a regular. And by regular, I mean he's a tournament player. He's there all the time. Every Sunday he's there practicing. But he was playing open play this day. And on more than one occasion, I saw him take his mask off. And I kept yelling at him, put your mask back on. And every time I did, he put it back on. And this was 2 or 3 times. And then finally, the last time, he took it off again. And I said, put your mask on. And he put it on like halfway, so that his mouth was still sticking out. And I said, all the way on. And he said, okay, bud, and then put it on. You are not only an adult, a grown-ass man, that shouldn't be talking that way to someone who's trying to keep you safe, but also, you're a very experienced player. You know what's going on there. Like, are you telling me that as an experienced paintballer, you've never seen some child playing with his gun and had it go off? Or an experienced player, for that matter. Just have it randomly go off when they're on the field? Have you never seen that? Because I see that all the time. And, you know, the gun goes off and they go, oops, oh, how did that happen? I don't, you know, they weren't meaning to press it, but it sure did happen. The trigger went off, and someone gets shot or shoots the ground or shoots in the air or wherever it may shoot. Imagine if that hit you in the face when your mask was halfway up. Like, why are you such an idiot? And then you're going to give me attitude about it because, 1, I'm trying to do my job, that thing I get paid for. 2, I'm trying to keep you safe.
Going back to the story of taking those kids off the field, I lined everyone up after you did that, and I tried to scare the crap out of them. And I was like, I'm not trying to scare you. And then I stopped myself and I was like, yeah, I am trying to scare you. If I have to scare you so your mask doesn't come off, that's what I'm gonna do. So I had like a, it was like a minute and a half conversation. I was like, you get hit in the face, you never do anything again. You never play football again. You can't do anything. Because not only have you now become permanently blind, you have messed up your entire face. And now I'm starting to mention the Infinity War scene with
Yeah, that's stupid. Don't do that anymore.
why.
No. Just don't do that anymore. No one understands what you're talking about. It takes way too long, and by the time you get to the end and you finally get to the point, no one's listening anymore.
I'll do what I want.
I'm just letting you know, man.
I don't give a shit.
Just letting you know.
Okay.
Even when I know, like the first time you said it that I was there, first I had no idea where you were going with it, and then finally you got where you were going with it, and I was like, wow, that was way too long.
Okay.
Just keep that in mind.
Okay.
But so yeah, I don't understand people taking their mask off on the field. It's especially like that guy. He has a good mask. It's not. I don't remember if he had an I-5 or what, but he had a good mask. It's not like you can't breathe in that mask. I don't have problems breathing in my mask. I never have. The rental masks, I can understand that. Having trouble breathing, head fogging up, so on and so forth. But if you have a good mask, if you're a legit player and you have a good mask, I don't understand having trouble breathing. You should be completely and utterly used to it. When we go to Ion, I'm on the field, the day is 10 hours long?
Yes, it is. It's from 9 to 10.
And I'm on the field, 8 hours?
12 hours.
Probably.
No, it's noon to 10. I'm sorry. It's 10 hours. Yes.
So I'm on the field probably like 8 or 9 of those hours, right?
Yeah.
And I never take my mask off. I don't see what. It's not that big of a deal to keep my mask on.
But you also play on a regular basis because
But this guy did too. He plays every weekend.
Then he's an idiot. But I had my mask off while we were on, I think by the staging area. I don't remember. I had my mask on because I was coming back from, I think, chronoing, and I just didn't take it off automatically. And they were like surprised that I had kept it on and I was just wearing it because we were going right back out onto the field and I didn't want to. It's a pain in the ass for me specifically because of my hair to pull my to keep moving my mask up and down. I'd rather just keep it on. But I also have a good, one of the top masks in the paintball world. If I'm, a little kid who's never worn a mask before, I'm going to be annoyed by it. I'm going to want to play with it. It makes me nervous when we're on the field and we don't wear it. But maybe because I'm so used to Three Rivers where it has to be on as soon as you walk on the field.
Maybe. I don't know. It never makes me nervous. Because as long as you're careful, no one's near you.
Well, I always check to make sure no one, like when I'm going on the compound, that no one's in Black Forest or around me, or if I'm going up in a jungle that no one's in Woods Ball or Black Forest, just in case. Or compound, not Black Forest. Because specifically when you're walking down that path to get out.
So, does anyone watching this later, or the two people that are watching now, any reason that you would take your mask off on the field? Any reason at all? Because I really can't think of one. To purposely take it off in the middle of gameplay, I can't think of a reason. Or when the game's over. I've seen way too many times where accidentally, and I've done this myself, where accidentally you fire the gun. And I can't think of a reason. Can anyone else? Can you guys think of a reason why you take your mask off on the field? A legitimate reason?
someone was stretching it and like trying to clean up in there, and I said, instead of taking it off, just stretch it forward a little bit and bend down and breathe. And like to them it seemed like such a profound concept of just like moving instead of removing it, just kind of stretching it off of your face for a second. I don't know why people just don't do that.
I don't know, love. I don't know.
Because that's what I do. If I'm having an issue, I stretch it away from me. I either push stuff out of my face if I need to, or I just push it out. I pull it out and then I look down and I breathe.
Clark, are you coming with us on October 28th? What's up, Lo? Where you going, babe? He's not answering me.
Maybe he's pulling up a calendar and seeing what day that is.
Gotta work. There he goes. He answered. Well, call off. Yeah, just don't go to that. At Two Rivers, I don't know where that is. I don't know where Two Rivers is. It'll be a lot more fun playing than being shot at. I promise. I know from experience it's more fun playing than being shot at. As a zombie specifically, because when you're playing, you're being shot at, obviously. Yeah, you do. You have to be there. Well, you can't. No, you're right. You can't call off. You have to schedule off. But it should be early enough at this point that you can tell them something came up and schedule off. And you'll still get the gold membership. Because you don't have to work every day. You just have to work a certain number. I think it's like 10 days. It's not every day. And we're still far enough ahead it's that you should be able to still tell them that you can't. Why are you crying, puppy? Why are you crying, puppy? So what you're saying is we're not good enough for you. Is that what you're saying? I understand. I'm with it. I got you. I'm following along. Well, that's pretty much all I had to talk about anyway. So, I will see everybody. One last note. Reaper Siege videos are officially over. I'm out of footage from Reaper Siege, which was 7 videos, 8 videos. It was either 7 or 8. It was a good number of videos. That was a good day of footage for me. So some of you may be happy that I'm done with that now. But so next week's is already ready to go. It's just open play, and so it looks like we'll be back at that for at least a little while. Just regular open play. If anyone has any requests for, I've been thinking, especially during the winter, when I'll have less footage to use anyway, I'm going to do maybe some reviews, some comparisons between things. So if anyone has any thoughts or ideas about what they'd like to see, please let me know, and I'll see what I can do. Clark, as regards to your last 2 notes, Eric already has your jersey, so you'll have it this weekend. We should go camping at a park and play paintball at night. Well, A-Dog does not play in the dark.
I don't have to go camping with you boys.
Now, if and when you come to Ion with us, there is night games and there is camping, obviously. So come to Ion. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. But if you know of a local place, glow sticks. If you know of a local place that does anything like that, let me know and we'll certainly talk about it. That's something we can talk about at the meeting that we are currently in planning of. So I will see everybody next week. Hi, Loki. And have a good night. Loki, don't bite my face. You're making it real hard to stop the streaming here.